across this because it is so disturbing to my soul. So I'm strolling on um, TikTok, just kind of like, you know, looking for looking at the different videos and stuff, and I came across this whole story about Javion MaGee. Now, if you haven't seen it, let me show you. Um, I hope I don't hit the what you call a thing on accident, but let me show you the video.
Y'all, I would have never thought I had to make this kind of post on my TikTok, but my family desperately needs your help. This is my little cousin, Javion MaGee. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He was 21 years old and would have been 22 in a few weeks. He was found hanging from a tree in Henderson, North Carolina yesterday. He drove trucks, so that was his reason for even being out there. The police officers are trying to say that he went to Walmart and purchased a rope and hung himself. We obviously don't believe that, and we are just asking for your help to push his story out there. This isn't covered on any local platforms. No news stations, radio, none of that. So we're trying to push it out there. We really need your help. The police officers in the coroner's office are giving us a hard time, not allowing his mom to identify the body. At one point, they told her she can't identify the body due to COVID. And then the next day, today, they told her the father has to give her permission for that, which he said that he would. She asked if they could send her pictures at least. They told her yes, and then turned around and told her, oh, I don't think that you want to see your son like that. Come on. Like, this is just very devastating for my family, and we really need to push this story out there. So if y'all could please repost this video, keep saying his name, Javion MaGee, hashtag justice for Javion, and we are gonna fight for him. And we are standing behind my cousin 100%, and they're not getting away with this. So please share this video. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the video that I saw a couple of days ago. Now I've seen some press release since then because people have started sharing. You know, they've started spreading the word. It didn't. So when I'm reading these different stories, they're saying that they found him with the rope around it. That no, let me start off. They're saying that he went to Walmart and he bought a rope, and then they found his body slumped up against a tree with a rope around his neck. First of all, if he tried to hang himself, why would he be sitting? Why would they find him sitting against a tree? If he tried to hang himself, if he got to the point where he was able to put that rope around his neck to the point where he was able to kill himself, and the rope broke, the tree broke something where he fell down, because that's the only thing that I'm thinking. I mean, in order to hang yourself, you would have to put it up on some, on that tree thing, and whatever happened, and then the force would kill you, right? So I'm not figuring that part out. But even if the tree broke, right? Hi, how you doing, Paul? Even if the tree broke, hi, Gigi. Even if the tree broke and the body fell, why would it end up slumped up against a tree? That don't even make sense. Not only that, but why y'all not letting the family see the body? You know, that would solve everything. For y'all to say, okay, well, he hung himself, then there should be no physical. It should be nothing, because I'm sure if he hung himself, it would just be about him putting himself up against a tree, whatever, and there really shouldn't be any bruise or defense type wounds or nothing like that. But how can you even tell if you're not allowing the family to see the body? And then they're saying they told them, oh well, we can't let you come in because of COVID. I heard nobody say nothing about no states or places being shut down due to COVID. Now I know COVID is still out there. We know that. But I haven't heard anything about anybody, even in the nursing home. When there's COVID cases, they tell the people, there's a note on the door that says, listen, there's a positive COVID case in here, so you can't come in, or something like that. But I'm just trying to understand. So in the coroner's thing, they're telling people they can't go in. When did they do that? I don't even know when they did that. So then I ran across this video right here, and this right here really disturbed me even more. So I'm going to show you this one, because this right here, and if this is true, oh my gosh, So let me turn this around. Let me make sure I got at the beginning. Okay.
So I got some disturbing details about this mysterious hanging of a young black truck driver in North Carolina. And I'm trying to stay as calm as possible, but I'm going to say this, and I want everyone in this country to understand one thing. If we don't clean house on this one, this is terrible for our country. First thing, the truck driver that they're saying went to Walmart, indeed did go to Walmart to deliver his load.
Hey,
Okay? He delivered a load with it. He's a truck driver. Before he delivered that load, or on his way into town, he was pulled over by the police department. Okay? Now, so let's get the part where he walked into a store and bought a rope and he strung himself up out of here. The police department, he had a run-in with the law. And the part that's angering me right now is I'm getting word, and I hope this is not true, is that in that police department are members of the Triple K. Now, this is unacceptable in America in 2024 to knowingly have members of the Triple K in the police department. So it's not what do you call it? This could happen. He runs in with the law. The law doesn't like the way the interaction went. They find him at a truck stop and allegedly, this is my thoughts, allegedly staged this. If what I'm hearing is true, that in that police department, and the FBI, whoever's on it, you guys better get to the bottom of this very, very quickly. If the Triple K is in there,
I know there's more to the story, and
there is more to the story. There is more to this story. As soon as I heard that they wouldn't allow the family to come and identify the body, I was immediately like, what? What? Because you gotta even get permission from the family to do the autopsy and all that kind of stuff. But why would you not allow the family to view the body? That makes me immediately. Hello, was it Azagupa Studios, on Wellington Giga? That immediately gives me cover up vibes. Because why are you not? First, you tell them that they can't come in because of COVID, which I ain't heard that, right? Nowhere have they shut down any government places or whatever, state or whatever. I don't know what they consider the corner. I don't know if that's state or whatever, but I ain't heard of no more shutting down for COVID, right? Secondly, then you tell them, well, you got to have the father's permission, the man was 22. Why would you need the father's permission to come see the body? I don't get that part either. And then they're saying, well, he went to Walmart and bought a rope and hung himself. Okay, where's the video? Because if there's any other crime and the person went in there and bought the crime stuff, they shows that video. Walmart or wherever. You're going to see the video of them walking in the line and buying whatever the stuff. And da-da-da. Where's the video? Where's the Walmart video? That's first and foremost. Where's the body? Why the family can't see the body? The family needs to be able to see the body, and they need to see whatever pictures they took when they entered the crime scene so they could see what the body looked like when they walked up on it. Because they have to take them pictures. You know what I'm saying? So because the first thing I'm thinking as a nurse is let's inspect this body and let's see if there's any type of defense wounds or anything that makes you think that there was any kind of struggle or anything. Because my mind is, how is it that you can hang yourself up against a tree? I mean, up on a tree, and then they find you slumped over on the tree, and it makes more sense to me, him being a truck driver, that he would be delivering a load. That makes sense to me. And then when he said that he got stopped by the police, and now that's something that you can verify. You can go through whatever, the FBI or whoever, the NAACP or whatever, you can go and see if this man got pulled over. If he got pulled over before he even when he was entering the town, which people are saying that this town is a sundown town, which I had never really heard of that before. But what it is in sundown towns, I'm guessing African Americans don't go out. Kind of like when you in one of them violent kind of towns, and you know when it get dark out, you everybody in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in because you know they're gonna be acting up and they be acting crazy at night. You know, um, so in this town, the people know not to be out after dark. We're in 2024. This is not 1965. This is not 1955. This is not 1940. This is not 1920. This is not 1850, 1865. What? This is 2024. We should not be hearing about nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? And even these people who are going out saying, oh, there's going to be a civil war. What's wrong with y'all's mind? What's wrong with y'all? Why are y'all trying to take the planet in a backward spiral? Why are y'all trying to go back to a period of time that was sad for America? Why are you trying to go back to a period of time that caused a lot of people to lose their lives? Why are you want to go back to that because you mad about what? About what? About what? There's more to this story. As soon as I seen it, my heart went out to the family. My heart went out to the mother. You know what I'm saying? And then you're not even allowing them to see their child. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And when you look at the video of the picture of the guy, he looked just as happy. That don't look like somebody. Now, true enough, there are people who are suicidal, and you may not even know they're suicidal because they may act normal and all that kind of stuff. But this story just don't sound right to me. It just doesn't. If they had said, listen, this is what happened, come view the body, and they went and they saw the body, and there wasn't no kind of nothing, fence, whatever, and they, okay, whatever, and he already had some mental health stuff in the past, because people who are dealing with depression, right, they show signs of that. The family know. If don't nobody else know, the family know. The family know if this family member has always shown signs of depression, if this family member has just experienced some type of major loss that would put them in a spirit where they would even want to kill themselves. The family gonna know. Maybe not nobody else, but the family gonna know. The mama gonna know. The mama gonna know if her child has had a history of suicidal ideations, if her child has been dealing with deep depression, if she been worried about him because he has that kind of ability to commit suicide, all that kind of stuff. A mother gonna know. A family gonna know. The same instance, a mother gonna know when something ain't right. A mother know when something ain't right. The NAACP and whoever needs to get on this, the FBI, they need to go down there and figure out what's going on because something about this whole situation ain't right. And then they got a black sheriff saying, "Oh, if it was something, I would be the first one." Shut up. Because we know that in the slavery days, they had the foreseers, and sometimes they would use a slave, and the slave foreseer, the black foreseer, would be meaner to the slaves than the freaking master. So whatever with that, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right about that story. And it's sounding to me like a cover-up. And it's bad enough that we've already had issues. And not all policemen are bad. Let's just put it out there. Not all policemen are bad. There are policemen that are the most loving people, and we are public servants, nurses, doctors, police officers, you know what I'm saying, teachers. We are public servants. So there's good and bad in the seat of everything. You know what I'm saying? So there are some good police officers. I don't want to take that from them. But let's be real about this situation. America has had issues with the police department, and we know we have. It is what it is, And then we're in this election season that appears to be very volatile, as far as certain people want to make it a race thing. They want to bring back, a lot of hatred, and they're talking about, oh, it's going to be civil war on it. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? This is 2024. This is not what it's almost like y'all are trying to take our planet to a backwards spiral, or you're trying to put our planet in a time machine and go back to a sad time in our history. When you go through trials and tribulations, you're supposed to learn from that and move forward. You don't keep repeating. Who wants to go back to that time? Like, get over it. All these people who are hating on each other because of the color of their race, they mad because they don't want black people in their town, or they don't want Chinese people, or they don't want Mexicans. What's wrong with y'all? We are all human beings, okay? And if you got any spiritual understanding, or even if you don't, even if you're not religious, you got to know that there's a reason why the mitochondria Eve gene is in everybody. We all started from a man and a woman. It's just, it is what it is. And so we are all related, whether y'all like it or not. I just don't understand why it is that intelligent people are trying to pull our country back to a time that was sad. Because why? I just, it's so much that's going on right now, and I just pray. I pray all the time. You know what I'm saying? I know the Bible is real. That's one thing. The Bible is real, and as much as I'm reading through the Bible, there is a part in the Bible that's called Revelations of things that are going to happen. They have to happen because the Bible was written and it says that it is. So we are definitely moving towards that time. I just don't, I'm praying not to see it in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But you got people who are straight evil. When I was young and I used to, listen to the stories about, you know, the times in the 60s. When the year that I was born, in the 60s, they were just killing all the black leaders back then. And I used to be like, why was they hating on African Americans so bad? Why did they have to go through that? Why? All the African American people wanted at that time was just equal rights, and they just wanted to be treated fairly, and just live their life. They didn't ask to come over here, most of them. Some people say that there was African Americans already over here. I don't know. The history books say that we all came over on a ship. I don't know. But the point is, in the 60s and 50s, we were just fighting for our rights for peace. In the 1800s, we just wanted to be free. Just let it stop treating us like we're not slaves anymore. We are not slaves anymore. This is not the 18th century. I just don't understand how this could be still happening. And I remember this same thing happening some years ago. I remember, and I don't know if y'all do, right? But I remember when Obama was running for office, when he first was running for office, first African American president, or, nominee or whatever, first person running for office, first African American running to be president. And I remember the hate just started really bad at that time. I remember seeing a post on Facebook where they were showing pictures of nooses hanging over a bridge. Like, I remember the hate really coming in. So it was hate before then. I think there was a period of, it was like it was undercover. Like, there was racism and all that kind of stuff going on, but it was kind of undercover to a degree. But then when Obama started running for office, it just became so volatile. And then when Trump came into, when he was running, it just went to an all-time high. And then that's when you started hearing about this same kind of stuff, this same kind of thing going on. There are people out there who they're not mentally stable. They're not stable. They're still living with a hate that was taught to them from childhood, that's come down from generation to generation, because you're not born with hate. Children are not born into the world hating anybody. You're not born that way. That's something that you're taught. That's a learned behavior. That's something that's been coming down from generation to generation. And they don't question why. Why you don't like that person because they're Chinese? Why you don't like that person because they're black? Why you don't like that person because they're Asian? What is the problem? Why you don't like them because of the color of their skin? Why is it that you don't even know that person? I just wanted to really just bring this out. The thing when she asked for us to share, that was and I seen that, I immediately started sharing because I understand, because if that was your loved one or my loved one, or we would want someone to help us get to the bottom of whatever's going on. So if what that young man said in that last video about there being a run-in with the police before he even got all the way into the town, and then he had a load to drop off at Walmart, and then the fact that they're not allowing the family to view the body, and they're coming with all these excuses. COVID? What? Ain't nobody shutting down because of COVID. COVID has not gotten to that. First of all, I don't even want to talk about COVID because I'm telling you that 2020 COVID wasn't even. That was something extra. There was something. Anybody who's in the military know that that was something extra. That wasn't just no little virus running around and just killing everybody. There was something extra. It was something about that, which is why there was already an antidote to it before, like it was already applied for. How do you apply for an antidote to something that has not even happened yet? You know what I'm saying? How do you get the cure for something that hasn't even become a disease? It hasn't even killed up, hurt nobody. Like you coming up with a cure for something that ain't even hit the market. So I already knew that whole thing with I said COVID. The whole thing with COVID was more than that, because we were already being taught about biochemical warfare when I was a soldier, and that was in the late 80s. The late 80s, I was being taught. We had to go into a chamber, and anybody who is prior military, in basic training, they take you through that, where you got to have the mask on, and you got to, as if there was a biochemical warfare going on. Biochemical meaning something is in the atmosphere that is causing you to breathe in these chemicals. You understand that? That's what that was. We was at war. Ain't nobody. I would never believe nothing different. I'll never believe that it was just like, oh, it was yeah, it was bad flu, And not to say that there hasn't been a bad flu, because I think it was a Spanish flu that killed a lot of people at a period of time. But that wasn't what that was. When they started saying that the COVID could last on a doorknob for 2 weeks, I knew then that wasn't. Anybody in the health field knew that was a lie. They knew that was a lie when they said it. Because we all know that an organism cannot live outside the host on no doorknob for no 2 weeks. Now, make some days, yes. 2 weeks, no. We knew that was a lie. So, them talking about they wouldn't let them come see the body because of COVID. What? That don't even sound right. That didn't sound right then. The fact that they found the body sitting up against a tree, that didn't sound right, because I know darn well he ain't just fell out the tree and then, no. And furthermore, how do you even what do you have to stand on? I don't know. I'm sure people, they have to have something to stand on and kill themselves. I mean, people hang themselves. That stuff does happen. People do commit suicide that way. But I just don't see them hanging himself, and then he falling down out the tree, and then going up and crawling over to a trunk, the tree of the trunk, and just sitting there and dying. That just don't sound. It just don't sound right to me. It just don't sound right. That just don't sound right. It doesn't make sense to me. And why would it just don't make sense to me? I never really, as soon as they said that, and they said they wouldn't let them see the body, wouldn't even let them see pictures how you going to identify him? How do I know that's even my child? If you not letting me see it, you're not showing me no pictures, how am I supposed to really know if that's my child? Ain't nobody heard nothing like that before. When somebody passes away, somebody got to come and identify the body. Somebody got to come and say, yes, that's my loved one. That's standard. So for them to be telling them, oh, yeah, we found your child, but no, you can't come see him because it's COVID. Oh, yeah, and then you got to get you got to get the husband got to come with you, like he's 6 and the child live with the daddy. Like, what? He's 22 years old. And then they don't start even putting it on the news or anything until this young lady starts putting it on TikTok and stuff and starts telling people, please share my story because they're trying to cover up killing, a killing, a murder. That's what she's saying. And she feel like that's what it is. And I'm starting to feel like there's something about that story ain't right. And if the police really did pull this young man over on his way into a town that is known to be a sundown town, that is known to have racism, and if their police department is really, you know, got a lot of crooked people in there like that, a lot of hateful people like in there like that, understanding the volatile energy that we're in right now, you know, because for some reason, you know, I haven't, in my lifetime, I've only seen it with Trump, but it's just like whenever he's running, there's always these hateful people. Even when I'm on live, and you know, the people who are for Harris don't never, you know, they don't never really be doing the most. But whoever the people that who are for Trump, they're always doing the most. They're always real mean and evil and saying horrible and racist stuff. That those are the only time I ever really see that is from those people. You never really see the ones who are going for Kamala Harris or Biden. What you don't never really see them posting a whole bunch of hateful stuff on everybody's videos and going on and doing. I don't never really see that. But with the ones that are rooting for Trump or the not the positive, because there's people that love Trump and they not evil, but the ones that really be going in and being horrible and saying negative stuff, it be them people who got hate in their souls. I ain't never seen nothing like it. We do not need to be going backwards. We have already come past that season. We're trying to have unity in our country. We're trying to bring our children up to understand that you're supposed to you know, love each other no matter what. No matter what color you are, no matter where you come from, no matter who your mama daddy is. We're trying to bring our children up to understand to love your fellow man. God said, love thy neighbor. We're trying to get away from that evil, hateful, hatred type stuff that was going on in the 80s and 70s and 60s and 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s, and we're trying to move forward. I guess I never have really understood this whole racism thing because I didn't grow up in that kind of environment. Not with the whites against the blacks. We live together in Columbus, Ohio. It's predominantly white, and we live together in peace. I mean, not to say that there wasn't some stuff here or there, but overall, when I was growing up, it wasn't like that. Once they started integrating the schools or whatever, we all just got along. It's just sad that in 2024, you got people out there who are still filled with so much hate. I pray this family gets the justice that it deserves. I pray the FBI gets in there and starts to really digging in. I pray the NAACP gets a hold of this and really goes in and they truly investigate what's going on in that city. What's going on in that town. Because everybody has been coming up like, oh, they're known for it to be a sundown town. So they got the reputation of being a racist town. They got that reputation because people are saying it. It's sad. So let me see. So let me go here and see the. Thank you, Paul, because I know I need you because if you wasn't here blocking them out, they'd be coming up here acting the most. So thank you for being here, Paul. I appreciate you, Lord jeez. Let me see. So okay, Madison said somebody is lying and it's not even a good lie. You feel that's not even a good lie. It's not even a good lie. Okay, Madison. They it's not even a good lie. They found him sitting up against a tree stump with a rope around his neck. What? That don't even sound right. Oh, well, you can't come see the body because of COVID. What? That don't even sound right. You're right. Somebody's lying, and it's not even a good lie. Um, it's Oz Gupo Guaupo Studios. Do you remember me? No. Should I be remembering you? Refresh my memory because I don't. I'm sorry. Charge it to old age and not to my heart. Okay. What's going on? Ronnie Coleman. I don't know what you're saying. Um, yes, confused mountain landscape. Yes, so awful, and people want answers. That's right. You're not going to be able to just be doing the most and thinking you're going to sweep it up under the rug and thinking that ain't nobody going to react to it. No, that's not what we're doing. We are going to, we are going to spread this word, and we're going to get it out there until they get to the bottom of it. See, if they don't have people sticking up for them, if they don't have people, like all of us who are spreading it and talking about it and making a noise, then they'll just sweep that kind of stuff up under the rug and act like ain't nothing going on. But no, you're not going to get away with this. No, we're not going. No, we're going to get to the bottom of this. The internet detectives. We're going to share. We're going to get the word out there because no, we're not going back to that time in our history. No, all these people who are bad, we need to find out who they are, and they need to be in jail them daggone selves. If you got some KKK that's in these police departments, that needs to be handled. Even the situation that just happened in Illinois, where the young lady was killed by the police in her house, like that kind of stuff should not be happening in 2024. Like, what is really going on? And then I, I don't even want. I don't. User NR. We can't stop the hate in other people's hearts. The best thing we can do is spread love and protect each other. Stay blessed. Please don't let this scar your heart. I know. I'm a, take it up to me being a nurse and just, you know, I got that kind of heart. And I just hate, you know, any loss, you know. The one thing that I always thank God for was that during the time when I was doing direct care, that I was never there when a patient died because I just couldn't handle, you know, seeing the pain, the family in pain. I just couldn't. The whole process. And then seeing people mistreated. I never liked that. I don't care who it is. I never like seeing people mistreated. You know, my heart just, that bothered me. As soon as I seen it, it bothered me. And when I heard her talking, and when she started talking about what was going on, I said something about that ain't right. Mm-mm. And then why is it that the police department and nobody was even saying nothing about it until she started pushing it? And then now that if so many people are starting to share it, then the police now they're on the news. Oh, and this is what happened. But they said, well, where's the tape? Where is the tape of him buying the rope first and foremost? Where is the footage of him buying this rope? And even if he did, that don't mean that somebody just still didn't follow him somewhere and pull him off on the side of the road and drag him out the car and all that kind of stuff. Like, we need this. I don't believe. Aren't there some cameras on these? If they can catch you speeding through a light, can't they pull some cameras off one of these poles or somewhere and see what's going on? Like, there needs to be a deep investigation because something about that just don't sound right to me. But what that gentleman said about him bringing a load to Walmart and being stopped by police and all that kind of stuff, that make more sense to me than anything, you know. Double click to show some people love. What do you mean by double click? I don't know what you mean, Paul. What double click? Double click? Double click what? What am I double clicking? I don't know. Danielle said it has to be evil and good cannot coexist. Yeah. Confused mountain landscape. I have been processing so much about racism still going on, but people carry pain from grandparents' pain. They are healing. They are healing as fast as we can. There's a book called The Dance of Anger, an easy read. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Oh, I know they. Thank you, Paul, because I know they acting up. I know they act. I know the haters. You know they come by the boatload. them haters come by the boatload. That energy is a mess. Um, Let me see. A confused mountain landscape said, book about the triangulation, and we don't know to go back at times to process our hidden pain or just cover our race guilt or pain. And he said, I wonder if people do use portals and time travel and got into trouble and came back angry. Something wrong with them. Something wrong with them. I don't know what the heck is wrong with them. Humans are an African species, facts. So there's been a lot of talk about that, you know, where the first, human remains or whatever was found, in Egypt or whatever, you know. I just know that the story of slavery is sad by itself. You know, what what um what happened to the African Americans was just sad. It's just sad. The fact that they were enslaved for 400 years is just sad. The treatment. And then, every time, they talk about restitution for the African Americans, they sweep that. They don't want to talk about that. They'll do it for everybody else. But they won't for the African Americans. I don't know why they treat us. I don't know why America treats African Americans the way they do. I don't know. I don't really understand. I don't even know why they treat different races. Period. Every ain't nobody over here. Everybody over here came from somewhere else first. So I think the only ones that was here that I know of, or that they said in the history books, was the Indians. Everybody else is a transplant from some other country. you know. Um, Confused Mountain Landscape said integration causes stronger children, and we're doing it. It's amazingly freeing. The younger ones, they are fighting against that. Um, because they're not really agreeing with what their ancestors, grandparents, or parents are saying. They not, some of them anyway. It's when you hear about the hatred and the evil stuff. A lot of it's coming from that older generation of people who grew up in that. They grew up in a household of hate and anger. You know, they grew up like that. They were raised like that. You need to be love is the only answer. If you're not pushing love, it's only two sides. It's either love or hate. It's good or bad. You know. If you're pushing hate, if you're pushing pain, then you're just straight evil. Just bottom line. Either you pushing love or hate. Either you pushing good or bad. You can't be. I don't know. This just bothered me, y'all, and I just wanted to share. I'm not trying to stay up here long. I'm really not. Um, um, the sons are stronger than me, as it should be. Um, Let me see. I remember people wiping down their groceries at the beginning of COVID. I'm telling you, Paul, I will never believe what they were saying. Because I remember in the middle of, when I used to do a lot of traveling, driving in the middle of the night, and I used to see those convoy of caskets that the military trucks was carrying. The big giant where the wheels was big as a freaking house almost, like big, as far as tall, like big wheel. That was before COVID. And then there was a book that came out, and the book described it. I can't even remember the name of that book. There was a book that was released in the 80s that was talking about something that was going to happen with this whole respiratory issue. What was the name of that book? Hmm. What was the name of the book the book that it was something that spoke of COVID in the 80s. I think the book came out in like 1980s or something like that. And I'm trying to remember what was the name of that book. Um, it was it Dean Coots? Here we go, right here. Um, it was this book right here. That book, yeah, that book came out in 1981, right? Talking about what was going to happen, and they already had an antidote. That's why they were able to give everybody the vaccines so quickly, like that. You know, they already had a patent on it. How you get a patent on something that ain't even came yet? um, I'm from all over the place. I'm from Ohio, loud enough. Um, what something similar in Powdale happened. Tragic broke our hearts out here. What happened in Palmdale, California? What happened? Evil on both sides. Don't kid yourself. I'm not saying that there's not bad on either side. I'm not saying that. I'm just noticing that when the people who post those negative, hateful things on my posts and kind of stuff like that, they be, you know, they be on the Trump side because they'll always put Trump at the end, like they want people to know that they are like that, you know. And I don't know if it's true, but what was what 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 was Trump's father in? Wasn't his father or grandfather in something? I can't remember. I don't know. I can't get a shout out. Can I get a shout out, please? Uh, was it Goofy Vids 123? Hey, how you doing? I just did. So I don't know. So what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, Paul? It said like the stream is what I mean. So let me go to my because I don't know how to do. I'm not all that smart with this part right here. Um, mm, let me see. Let me hold on. Let me find right here. Okay, so if I go in here, oops. So what am I supposed to be? Um, so Paul, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I double click? What am I supposed to be double clicking? The heart or something? Like I don't know what the double. What am I supposed to be double clicking? Double click what? What am I supposed to double click? Like the stream is what I mean. Double click. What? I don't know what you mean by double click the stream. I don't know what you mean. Um. Hi, Brooke Crowder. There's always been slavery in every era. The feudal systems in every culture. India still has untouchables. I believe that. That yeah, because you know what? When you go back to all the way, um, gosh, in the Bible, there was always slaves. That's true. Um, because you know the all of the sons. Uh, what is it? What was his name? Well, I couldn't think of his name. Um, my mind went. The children of Israel. The children of Israel were slaves, right? And even before them, there were slaves. There's always been. That's true. That's true. Shadow band. I'm a Native American. The first thing that needs to happen is everyone gets off. Listen, we are. Listen, you there you go trying to take us back. Look, we here now. You might. We all got to get along. We here now. um, they didn't enslave us. They just straight got rid of us. And my heart goes out. You know. But at what point do we start to heal as a people? You know. At what point do we start to heal over the trauma of our ancestors? At what point do we start healing? You know. I'm just like, when do we start? At what point do we say, let's heal, let's move forward? Confused Mountain Landscape said, I'm getting rid of my bipolar tendencies. I want it gone for good. Okay. The book called 1984 B. Cooper. No, is that what was the name of the book? Let me see. Let me see what was the name of the book. The book, The Eyes of Darkness. That's what it was called. The book was called The Eyes of Darkness, and it was in 1981. Here, let me show you right here. Um, it was called The Eyes of Darkness by Dean Koontz. That is the book that predicted um, the whole COVID thing, the whole COVID situation, and if you've ever been in the military, you know, all the people in the military, the veterans and stuff, we know. We just like, mm-hmm. I remember each time before COVID would enter the city, they would let people know it's coming. How you know it's coming? And then it would rain. The next thing it rained. The next thing people was getting sick. It was in the atmosphere. I remember telling people even when it first happened and before they even started doing the mask thing, I could literally smell it, and I was telling people like you better start covering your faces because there's something in the atmosphere. I knew it, like I knew it. This is before people even started getting the mask. You know, I knew it. And let me tell you, it was like my face is so sensitive. You know, you see, I have eczema. My face is so sensitive. So during that time, when they said it was coming, it was like all of a sudden my face reacted. It's like my face reacted to what was in the atmosphere. Yeah, we are people who military people. We either that was a war, a biochemical war, or that was an experiment that went wrong. Somebody released something in the atmosphere they wasn't supposed to. And I remember there was a scientist somewhere in Georgia that worked with the CDC that ended up out in, I think it was in Georgia or it was somewhere, where he ended up finding his body um, well, they said he committed suicide. They always want to say people commit suicide, but he was like one of the high ups during this was during that time. People who were in the military soldiers knew that there was something more to that whole COVID situation than what they were telling everybody. They knew. And then another thing, and I don't even really do the political thing, but I do want to say this: the reason why everything is so high is because they want their money back from when they give us all that money. But they had to give us the money because in 2020 everything had crashed. People were dying by the thousands. You know, people were losing their businesses. People were. That was a devastating period. So, and it was almost. I don't know if y'all saw it, but it was so chaotic, and the energy was so thick with suffering. Just it was like a gloominess that was all over the country that whole period of time. It was just a sadness. But then, as soon as there was a changing of the guard, when they changed from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, it was almost an instant peace. I know y'all had to remember that. It was chaotic, with the whole thing that happened, you know, at the Capitol and all the craziness and the people down in the dungeon to try to count votes. People go like, what the heck? But then when it changed over, it was like a sense of peace. Everything might have spiked up, but it was a sense of peace. It wasn't the chaotic confusion, darkness that it was before. You know, I know you had to remember that. I know I do. I remember that. It was a sad time. That was a sad time. No, I was telling the viewer to double click this. Oh, okay. Double. No, I was telling the viewer to double click the screen to like. Okay, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing, Paul? I don't know. um, I thought I was in a Stephen King's The Stand for a while. Uh, Granda at the end was my stance. We still alive. Oh, you talking about at the end of when all that was drama. When I looked at their debate, and I'm just looking at him, the Trump, and I'm just thinking, everywhere you go, there's confusion. Everywhere you go, even when you do your campaigns, there's confusion, there's mayhem, and it's the same way. It was the same way when he was on the campaign trail some years ago. It was like everywhere he went, there was confusion, there was mayhem, and then once he became president, it was like the whole country was caught up in this confusion and mayhem and craziness, and people died, and it was sad, and we couldn't even be around each other. We was wearing masks, and people was losing their businesses, and people couldn't even go see their loved ones. They had to, they was just dumping bodies in big giant graves because they couldn't even have regular funerals. Like, I don't know if did y'all forget? I didn't forget that season. I didn't forget, because that was the first time I'd ever been through anything like that in my lifetime, where there was a social distance, and everybody had to stay in their homes, and wasn't nobody allowed to go out, and we all had to wear masks, and the only time you really got to see anybody else is if you went to the grocery store or something, and it was just sad, and people were losing, people who had businesses for years lost their businesses, and people who were on the front line was dying like flies, and family members was dying like flies, and it was just crazy. We lost thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and the world was sad. The whole world was sad. It was just a horrible time. It was a horrible time. And so when I see that same energy with him, and he's going to these different campaigns, it's like remembering a bad relationship. It's like remembering, an abusive relationship, or an abusive time, you know. Don't nobody want to go back to abuse. Who wants to go backwards? Don't nobody want to go back to abuse. We tell, abused women and men, if you have gotten away from an abusive relationship, you don't go back. You go forward. You wait because God got somebody new for you, or you're going to go with something new or something that's love, but you don't go back. That was an abusive time for America. That was an abusive time. That was a sad time. Anybody want to go back to that? So I just wanted to really come up here and talk about um, that whole situation. You know, I pray that they get to the bottom of it. I pray that, whatever, whatever, it's going to be revealed. The truth is gonna come out, because the truth is always revealed. I just pray that this family gets, the information that they need or whatever, and then and the truth comes out so that there will be peace. You know, I don't, so I just pray, God. I just pray over that family, and I pray over anyone who has lost a loved one to violence. I pray for anyone who has had suicidal thoughts and ideations or whatever. I pray over them, because when you feel suicidal, it's like the thought of happiness is so far away. You just can't think of anything ever getting better. It's like all you can see is what's right in front of you, but what is right in front of you is temporary. Because for every moment that passes, that time is gone. So if you can just get past the storm, if you can just get past that emotion or that sadness or that depression or that, if you can replace your thoughts and focus on something good so you can get past that moment, you can get past that feeling of hopelessness where you want to take your life. That's for people who really truly are in that energy. But I just don't feel like this story is about that. I just something in my spirit is just not sitting right with the story. And not because people don't commit suicide, because people do. And people commit suicide that you would never think would commit suicide. However, there's some parts to this story that ain't adding up. You know? There's some issues with this story that's not adding up. I don't think that the police department out there is being honest. I feel like they're trying to cover up stuff. And I won't believe nothing differently until that family gets a chance to see that body, and that family gets a chance to see the photos of when the police first found the body, and they're able to inspect that young man's body and see if there are any type of bruising or anything that does not sound like he just hung himself. Because when you are fighting for your life, there's going to be DNA up under your fingernails. There's going to be bruising, because you're going to be fighting for your life. So if this is just a regular suicide, there should be no DNA up under his nails. There should be no bruising that would make it seem like he was trying to scratch or whatever. There should be no scratches on his body like that. There should be none of that. Definitely the nails, because DNA is under the nails. Because if he was fighting, if that's the case and he was fighting, he scratched somebody. There was some scratching. There's some DNA. There better not be no DNA up under no nails. There better not be no bruising because of fighting. Because if that happened, then I'm sure that he was being hit. So there shouldn't be no bruises. We need to see the body. That's bottom line. We need to see the body. We need to. And where's the video of him buying that rope? Where's the video? Y'all said, well, we saw this and we saw that. And even if he did, who's to say he might have? But that still don't mean that he killed himself. Because something about that just don't sound right. And then, what's up with him getting stopped by the police when he entered the city? Like, they would have had to call it in, right? Every time they stop somebody, they got to call it in. They got to call it in, and call the license number and all that kind of stuff, and whoever stopped them would have had to report all that. So all that is something that's documented. Where's that at? Like, there's some stuff that's going on that ain't right. And I can tell you one thing. America is not going, once this gets out there, America is not going to let it go until they get the answers. That's bottom line. So... they is not going to let it go. They're not going to let it go. And there's going to be more people talking about it, and they're not going to have a choice but to go down there and do a thorough investigation because the people are not going to let it go because we know something ain't right. It don't sound right. And if y'all got nothing to hide, then just let this person come and see their family member. Let them come and inspect this patient, inspect their body, inspect that body. and look for bruising, and get an autopsy and get a second opinion and have them look up under the nails and look for DNA and all that kind of stuff. Like do an investigation because something don't sound right. I can't see him falling out the tree and then he just what he felt he put himself up and hung himself in a tree and the tree branch broke and then he crawled over to the thing and then sat up and sat against it. That don't even sound right. That don't sound right. That don't sound right. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. Some people say reparations is a form of generational punishment or guilt to people who didn't have anything to do with slavery. Great grandkids punished, taxed, enslaved. So they promised our ancestors 40 acres and a mule. I do remember that. They were supposed to give every enslaved family their own land and allow them to be able to prosper. But I think the whole thing with Juneteenth is them people didn't even know the slavery was over. They didn't even tell them. They were still doing slavery out there. They never really benefited. The, the African Americans and minorities, not just African Americans, but minorities have all, the rules don't apply to everyone, you know, they just don't. They make it hard for African Americans to rise. They do. They just do. I feel that they do. But that's my opinion. I feel like there should be. Yeah, they should get. They've done it for other people. The other. I think that there are other kind of grants and stuff for other races who have been mistreated. So why can't there be one for African Americans? There's other races who have gone through the most, and there's all kind of grants to help them. So there should be something for the African Americans because we went through a lot and still going through it. When I worked as a jail nurse, most of the people that was coming in there were minorities. Almost, almost. I would say if I had to do intake on 20 people that they had picked up, 18 of them were minorities. And out of them 18 minorities, there probably was, I don't know, 14 African Americans and 4 of some other race. But it was always like that. And they would come in beat up. And some of them would say, before they brought us in, they did this to us and that to us. I used to remember that. That was way back. That was way back when I was working as a nurse in the jail system. It's like prison is like a modern day slavery. It really is. Not to say that some people don't need to be there, you know. But, So anyway, justice for Javion MaGee. Justice for his family. I pray that they find out what really happened and that the family gets everything that they need so that they can have peace and bury their loved one because it's a horrible thing when you lose a loved one, especially unexpectedly. And then to lose them in this kind of way and then still not even have the answers. So I pray for their family. I pray for peace for their family. And I pray for peace for anyone who has been mistreated by an unfair system. You know. For me, we need to just love each other. I don't care. We need to practice more love. And I know that's probably like everybody like, okay, Patricia, but I'm just serious. It takes it's so much easier to love than it is to hate. Hate takes a lot more energy. Love is just it's just so much easier to love. Anyway, peace and love, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you, Paul. I'm trying to say goodbye. When he let me say goodbye. Hold on here. Is he gonna let me say goodbye? I'm trying to say goodbye.